Have you ever considered hatching your own chicken eggs in an incubator? Well, I'm Grace with Boujee Beaks Hen Haven, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's quickly talk about why you might want to use an incubator versus buying chicks from like a hatchery or online, or waiting for one of your hens to hatch them for you. I've done all of the above. Except having a broody hen to hatch hen. I've actually never had a broody hen. So that's one of the downfalls of having a hen hatch them for you. They are the best to do it, but you have to wait for somebody to want to do it. And so far, none of my hens have been broody. Actually, one started to be, but it was like the middle of December. I said, oh no, you get to put off those eggs because we're not doing this in December. And this is Wally. He wants to be in the video. He's so obnoxious. So that's one of the downsides of having a hen do it for you, is that you have to wait. Another downside is that you cannot control the temperature, the settings, and the hatch day, which I kind of like to do. But I am dying for one of my hens to go broody just because I would like to see the process of how they do it. Now, buying them online, when you buy them live babies and have them shipped to you, it's kind of very stressful for them. Like I said, I've done it several times. That's actually how I got most of my flock. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying that sometimes they die in transit, which some hatcheries will send extras. We call that chicken math. Some hatcheries will send extras so that, when some of them die, then you'll have like extras. But if they don't die, then you just have a bunch more. Chicken math. And I've also bought my own eggs to hatch from a hatchery. That was a whole lot of fun. The only downside to that is that you can't control how they're handled in the post. So, things like the air sac can get detached. The eggs can get too cold, too hot, jumbled around too much, cracked. So you have to think about that. Now let's go look at my incubator. All right, here's my little setup here. What you need is an incubator. You don't need the squirt bottle, that's for the cat. And some distilled water. And this is the incubator that I like, and I have two of them. Well, I will have two by the end of the day. I really just enjoy the process of hatching peeps. I just hatched out some over the weekend, and I have 10 little precious peeps in there that will be going to new homes today and tomorrow. I actually just hatch them for my friends. And I'm like the peep queen, I just hatch chickens. I love it. All right, so anyway, I will post a link to this. This was about $100. I really like this little incubator. They do make bigger ones. They do make smaller ones. I like this one because I give my chicks a lot of personal attention, and I just don't have I just can't have like 20-something chicks clamoring around all over the place. 10, 12 is like my max. How cute are these? All right, so here's the incubator itself. I literally just plugged it in about 20 minutes ago, so it's still coming up to temperature. It is pre-programmed to be at 99.5, and I lower my temperature down to 98. Reason being is because some people swear by this method, other people say it's hogwash. So far, I've had decent luck with it, so we're going to keep doing it, and it doesn't hurt anything to do it. Lowering it down to 98 degrees. So the premise is, even though chickens are not amphibians, but that's how amphibians, that's how the gender is told. So like when a crocodile makes a nest, they're looking for temperature, and they're feeling around and looking for temperature, because if it's a couple of degrees cooler, you'll have more females, and if it's a couple of degrees warmer, you'll have more males. And so, like I said, the idea, of course, is that we're all going to want more hens rather than roosters. You lower the temperature down and you get more hens. Again, some people say that's absolute hogwash, but it's kind of worked for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. Now, this is super simple to operate. You see it's got a heating, and these lights are heating, and then auto turning. So like every hour, it'll turn like a quarter of a turn. And you see it's in these little brackets like this. If you're going to use this particular incubator, can I just tell you that there's a couple of these right here where this part needs to sort of hook down into there, and it's sort of a fine thing. You got to kind of finesse it and finagle it, and if it's not right in there, then your humidity is never going to stabilize, and the humidity is ultra important. This is my humidity meter. It's still coming up. You want it about 50%. 45 to 55 is acceptable, 50 is optimal. And you adjust the humidity by the water over here. You want the water for the first several days up until the last 3 days of hatching. You want the water just below these little teeth looking things. Okay, and you'll need to add it regularly because it does, it doesn't stay in there. All right, and then there's this little knob back here, and you can adjust it. More closed will increase the humidity, and more open will decrease the humidity. They recommend keeping it like halfway to 3/4. I find I have to be more towards 3/4 to keep my humidity going. I'm on day 21, so it's 21 days to hatch regular eggs. Bantams, it's 19 days, and I think ducks, it's, I don't know, but it's more. As you can see, I have an X. Most of these have an X, but they've already turned once, and so the X is kind of down. The purpose of the X, when I put these in the incubator, is because it's a point of reference. So watch what happens when it turns. All right, now you see, now this one has speckles, so you can tell that it's turning anyway, but look, there's an X over there. Some of these don't have speckles, and then it's difficult to tell if your egg is actually turning. Another thing I will do, a couple of these have some letters on them because I know the hens that hatched them. A couple of these blue ones, I wanted to know who the mother was, and I have 2 roosters, so I don't really know who the baby daddy is. So that's it in a nutshell. It's really pretty simple. And I am going to post more videos on day 7 and on day 12 of how I candle them and how you can tell if there's development or not development. I will tell you that those green eggs are very difficult to see through. You'd think it's the dark brown ones, but it's not. It's the green ones because they've got a dual pigment that causes them to look green like that, and it's very difficult to see through. So what I will do on day 7 when I candle it, I'll take my Sharpie, and if I see development, I'll write a 7. So I know on day 7 I saw something happening in there. And it's really, like day 7 is, you're just really looking for an ugly little blob in there. Some people candle a little bit earlier than that, but and then day 14, the same thing. If I don't see any development, I might put a question mark, especially on those green eggs. If it is a lighter colored egg and I see no development, I just go ahead and take it out. You do not want to leave an undeveloped egg in your incubator because my cat is so obnoxious. Because it'll eventually explode into nastiness, just pure, simple nastiness, and you do not want that. So again, this is Grace with Boujee Beaks Hen Haven. Take care.